Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Hump Day edition of the JP Peterson Show. We are back in studio after a fabulous day at the Kevin Harrington Foundation golf tournament yesterday. That was outstanding. Got to play Pelican for the first time. I'll give you a little review of the golf course and the day yesterday. The Rays were back home and they lose again. But something a little bit more disturbing for me. It's not a new trend, but I want to just kind of get your input from the fans. Last night was about 90% Phillies fans. About 90%. If you read the threads that were on Twitter last night, and you watch the game and you listen to the crowd, it was 90% Phillies. So is it really a home game? Did they lose at home last night? I don't know. It's not their regular home. It was more Phillies fans, so maybe it was a road game. I don't know. I don't know which is which. Anyway, we'll get into that. The Bucs are getting disrespected, which I absolutely love. Big trade for the Cowboys. They screwed up again. Good morning to you, Tim Ham from FanStream Sports DFW, where they have now acquired George Pickens and are going to pay him $30 million to be a malcontent in your locker room. Good morning.
It's fun. Good morning. So, and I apologize for yesterday having the bell on everybody. My internet,
no worries.
the
No worries.
facility I was at got knocked out by the storm that I had to drive home through, and it was just a chaotic day all day. But so it's funny because I write for the Cowboys, I write for the Steelers, and for all of last season, I've touted what a horrible player and a horrible individual and a horrible teammate and a horrible locker room cancer George Pickens is.
That's what I heard.
And then what happens?
Yeah.
Now he's on his way to Dallas, and they overpaid for him, and they're overpaying for him with the new contract. So it's
a third and a fifth round pick. I wouldn't necessarily say is overpaying for him, but
I would.
They're about to overpay him in salary dramatically. Yeah. I'm guessing, right? He wouldn't be coming there, and you wouldn't give up those picks if you weren't going to give him a new deal.
No, and and I'm sure that's been already discussed with his agent and his team, or they wouldn't have made the deal. They're not the Jets. And with the Hassan Reddick fiasco, but it's or Carolina Hurricanes with Mikko Rantanen. That's apparently what happened over there too. We find out later, but he doesn't look. And it's not just me because, and look, I'm not a Steelers fan. Okay. I absolutely despise the Steelers as a Cowboys fan growing up for obvious reasons from the 70s, 2 Super Bowls. Right. So, but when you have your own team's legends bashing the guy publicly on their podcasts. And Ben Roethlisberger, who I also despise, I think he's also a horrible human being, but those in Pittsburgh respect him and those in the football world respect him. When he comes out and says that George Pickens maybe single-handedly cost Justin Fields and Russell Wilson their jobs in Pittsburgh, then there's something to it, right? It's not just
absolutely.
That's all I've heard.
It's a cacophony of voices that are anti-George Pickens. I mean, the talent is evident. He can make some great catches, but there's all the nonsense that comes along with it. Correct?
So much nonsense, and even stuff on the field. Yeah. Like who was it? Des Bryant and T.O., Terrell Owens, were both notorious for not trying on plays that they weren't involved in. You'd see him at the snap of the ball if it's a run play or something or a pass to the other side. They just stand there and don't do anything. George Pickens was known for running the wrong routes when the ball wasn't going to him because he was bored.
He's bored, right?
And it cost his team interceptions. Because when you run the wrong route, you're no longer distracting your defender. And now your defender or the safety that was supposed to migrate over to you can now focus on the other side. Right. And it cost him 2 or 3 interceptions last season, specifically because he was not running the right route.
Right.
I don't want that crap here in Dallas. We don't have the team, the quarterback, the offensive line to overcome that crap. It's
you don't have – I don't know what the Cowboys – but just from afar, it looks like you don't have the culture to bring a guy like that in and make him conform to what's going on. It doesn't seem like that's the kind of culture that the Cowboys like they have here in Tampa Bay. Like, first of all, Tampa Bay would never acquire a player like that. Like, never. Like he would be off their trade board, their draft board, trade board. By the way, Jason Light is going to join us tomorrow, and we're going to ask him, specifically. I want to ask, how many guys did you take off the board? That's like, how many guys did you take off the board? Just a number. Don't need names. I'd be interested to know, just from a volume standpoint. So he may or may not answer the question, but we're going to ask it. And so, this is how you build a culture by. Yeah, you can. I think when you get a good culture, you can bring certain guys in, and maybe it's they're a little, but you have to know if they're a little malleable. If they can be changed, because a lot of guys are just they're just who they are. They're not going to change for anybody. And if you go into a Steelers organization with the best culture and one of the top 5 cultures in the NFL, with that coach and that situation, that group, that ownership group, and you can't conform, then the Cowboys ain't going to suddenly change you into a great professional. And people will say, well, why are they trading him? Well, and why did they go get DK Metcalf? Because they were going to pay him, not pay this jerk. Yeah. So, but the Dallas Cowboys fall into it, and he might have some decent numbers. I'm with you. I don't think.
I mean, he's got to be a reliable number 2. That's why they're getting him, and obviously the Steelers did not find he was number 1 when they traded Deontay Johnson 2 seasons ago in the offseason. It left George Pickens on an island, right, for the rest of the season, because they really had nobody. Right. And they decided, well, he can't be a number 1. Now we got to go get Metcalf. So they, to me, overpaid for a guy that's on the downtrend of his career with Metcalf. And then they decided too, well, he's probably not even a number 2 for us. He needs a change of scenery. So they ship him off to Dallas there. And to me, from what I understand, there wasn't a huge number of teams that were in the discussion for this. The Cowboys were at the top of the list very early
George
on.
Pickens?
Yes.
They're negotiating against themselves again?
Pretty much.
They're known to do. Yeah.
And again, a third, what was it, a third and a sixth? I think that's what I saw.
Third to fifth.
And a fifth. Okay.
Third
I'd have been happy.
Year, third 26, fifth and
27. So, I mean, I'd have been happy with a fifth trading for him, but I don't like giving up the third. You gave up a fourth for Jonathan Mingo with the Panthers last year. Did he ever see the field? I think he played 5 plays, right? He was supposed to be the number 2. Yeah. That was the year after you gave up a fourth for Trey Lance, who's no longer on the team.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if Jonathan Mingo makes the team here in the camp. All right. So the Cowboys, the only thing that I have in my head right now that's maybe playing on this positively is I really like what Brian Schottenheimer's done in the building since he's taken over as coach and put his staff together. And I think he is trying his best to change that culture in the room, in the building, at the Star. But the problem is you've still got Jerry at the top who's going to do what Jerry wants to do. Jerry could have gone to Brian and said, hey, we can make a deal for George Pickens right now. It's not going to cost us a lot. And Brian would have said, man, I don't want that kind of guy in my room.
Right, exactly.
And Jerry would have said, well, I lied. The deal's already done, so you're getting them.
Yeah,
that's how that would have gone.
It's complete dysfunction. I don't want to get too far down the Cowboys, but that was breaking news this morning.
Absolutely.
We'll go back to it a little bit later on, except to say Nathan Elliott's on it this morning. He says George Pickens is going to knock CeeDee Lamb out the first time Lamb bitches about not getting the ball when Pickens is in the huddle. Going to be fun to watch.
See, I think it'll be the other way around.
Yeah, might be. May just be a full-on fist fight. Right. Fantastic, right there on the field.
Great. I'd love it.
Outstanding. Oh, is there a penalty? By the way, can you get penalized for hitting your own teammate?
Do you get a roughing penalty?
What is that unsportsmanlike conduct on 88 and whatever number he's going to wear?
14 probably.
Then do you get 30 yards in penalties if it's on the same team?
Because they punched each other?
They punched each. I don't know how that works.
Holy crap, the Cowboys.
Wouldn't that be funny?
I can't wait for the season now.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, let's get into a couple things I want to get into here today. The Rays last night lose 8-4 to the Phillies, and the place was absolutely 90% Phillies fans last night. There were some Rays ticket holders, season ticket holders. I commented on. I want to. The great El Bushman says we need to deport everyone back to their home state. Let's get the ICE agents, the nice agents, to get the nasty people out of here from Philadelphia. Problem is, they're not from Philadelphia; they're from Clearwater. They're from here, and so last night the Rays are home again, and they're now 9-14 at home. They've lost 9 of their last 10 at home. I think 2 of those victories were against the awful Rockies. So, is it it's not a home field advantage? Well, it's not the park, because the other teams can hit in the park. They don't seem to have a problem. So when I hear people say, well, the Rays can't hit in this park, well, it's because the Rays can't hit. It's not because the other teams seem to do just fine. So that's not a thing. Now, is it, the fans, so many fans of other teams? I think this is the worst. The Yankees weren't even as bad as this, but that was bad when the Yankees were here. This was really bad last night. It's because this is the only series the Phillies are going to play here. And it's the only series I think they've played in Tampa going back a couple years. And there's a lot of Phillies fans in here because they train in Clearwater. Obviously, a lot of Philly transplants down here. So when the tickets come out and they're overpriced, they're 50, 60, 80% higher than they normally are when the single game tickets go on sale. Rays fans don't want to buy those tickets. They're gonna wait just to see. First of all, they're just gonna wait to see if their schedules align, because they live here. They don't have to plan about going to the Rays game, especially now that they're in Tampa. They can decide in the afternoon, you know what, I want to go to the game tonight. Let me go see if there's some tickets available. So they're not going to buy tickets ahead of time, especially when they're grossly overpriced. And also, now Rays fans know that they can get, if they bought tickets, you bought season tickets, you paid a premium. You bought them because now you can get these tickets on the secondary market for a hell of a lot less. And so anybody who went and bought the season tickets is, in essence, penalized. So what are they doing? Well, yeah, it was $80 a seat. My seats that were $30 a seat were $80 or whatever it was.
Right.
And so now they're like, oh, Phillies fans are going to want these tickets. The Phillies fans are going to want these tickets. They'll pay a premium for it. So they go on StubHub, they put the tickets up for sale, and they sell them to the Phillies fans. To me, it's more a matter of money than it is allegiance to the team. When you're getting soaked on the season ticket and you got a chance to recoup some of your money, what are you going to do? Oh, Phillies fans. Oh, plus I don't want to go to the game and it's going to be 80%, 90% Phillies fans, so I'm going to sell my tickets. Same thing kind of happens with the Lightning late in the season when Lightning fans are trying to save up for playoff tickets. And they'll take spots to sell their tickets. So my guess is, and the Phillies fans, it's a one-off for them. It's 3 games of the year. It's not 81. So they'll pay the premium. So in essence, you're pricing your own fans out of the market because you exorbitantly priced them so high at the beginning. So yes, as it always does, it comes back to Stu and the way they run the team. And they did this at Tropicana Field where they had the premium games for Yankees and Dodgers and, the one-offs that came in. They would jack the prices up. The Rays fans would go, no, I'm not going to pay 3 times what I normally pay. I'll just let I'm not going to go to the Dodgers series. I'm not going to go to the Philly series. There's going to be a bunch of obnoxious Philly fans going to be there anyway. So I get that. But to me, as I put on X this morning, it's disturbing. It's disturbing to me. I understand it. I understand why it happens. It's mostly economics, but I don't like it. When it's 50-50, it's kind of fun. Usually Yankees, Rays, it's 50-50. Red Sox, Rays, 50-50, maybe 60-40 Rays, depending on, what time of year, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of competitive. But when it's 90%, like that's obnoxious. It's obnoxious and it's not fun for Rays fans. And all last night, I'm looking at Twitter and they're just, and I feel bad for the fans. I do the fans that are, that are there all the time. I do feel bad for them. There's this one girl, Tampa Bay, Tay Victoria. She says, this is a Phillies home game and I don't really know what to tell you. I'm doing my part. People were asking about, on hitting Twitter and go, wow, it sounds like it's all Philly fans. Well, that's because it is. It's mostly Philly fans. And the thread is interesting too. She said, circling back on this, it is beyond annoying hearing the other fan bases take over. I've sat through it for nearly every series, But if you're in the 813-727 saying, wish our chants were louder from your couch, how exactly do you expect that to happen? It's a great point. I mean, people are at home complaining about, there's way too many Phillies fans. And again, I understand the economics. I totally understand the economics. And I think that's part of the problem is the way ownership handles the ticket situation, as I described. She said, at the end of the day, literally, I've got to accept that I'm doing everything I can and be at peace with that. Like I always say, till the bitter end, she's going to be there. And the thread was interesting. As I get to some of the others, Elijah Flewellen says, can confirm it's brutal. He was there as well. She said, yeah, I had to get up and walk around. They were starting to get chippy. Philly fans getting chippy. Shocking development. Seems T-Bone Nation, who comments on our site often, says, seems to be a common theme. Our home games have zero home advantage. Absolutely. Bray says, can you blame them for not wanting to live in Philly, though? No. Just here said it felt like a Phillies home game. There was very little energy from Rays fans. This team plays very stale here in Tampa. That's the other thing. You give them nothing to cheer about. You got Yandy's home run, and that was about it. Zach Wheeler was really good last night. He was strong. He was dominant going against this mostly AAA lineup. Someone else said Philly fans are trash. Got to get that in there. No home field advantage. In fact, It's the opposite, says this Henry Wittine. Manny says it really sucks when the away team has way more fans and Rays fans just sit in silence. When I went to a game against New York, I was the only Rays fan in my section making noise. Anthony says, same. I got tickets for all 3 games just to prevent other Philadelphia fans from getting in. Well, that's one way to do it. Yeah. Ed Theme Park and Attraction said, or ED said, I'm here too, trying to be that 10% versus the 90% Philly fans. So it's bad. It's bad. So my question to the fans is, what can we do about it? What can we do about it? And I think from an outsider's perspective, it's like, wow, your fans suck. And I get that. I mean, if you turned on a TV and we're watching a Phillies game and it was 90% Yankee fans or 90% Dodger fans or 90% whatever, you'd be like, oh, those fans suck. But that would never happen in Philly. First of all, visiting teams are afraid to go to any games in Philadelphia because you'll get spit on, you'll get thrown up on.
Especially wearing the other team's colors.
Right.
That's a no-no.
Which is disgusting. Which is disgusting. I don't think fans should act that way. You should be accommodating to other fans, which we are. I think that's, we're a tourist economy. We should know that. But what else can we do about it? And listen, you know me. I'm going to sit here and tell you the biggest problem is the owner. And I still believe that. And I wholeheartedly. I think there's a huge problem with Rays fans going out of their way, spending extra dollars, putting up with other fans, and the money is going to an owner that doesn't give a crap about you or your fans. It's just laughing at you and just laughing his way to the bank. Although that's been harder to do lately.
Right.
And I mean that because of the settlement that he had to pay, not because he's not making more money in ticket revenue, because he probably is. So despite what you might read other places in the Times, are there revenue issues this year? Well, maybe because of television, and the whole issue around regional sports networks, although once again, Stu got a lot of that money up front. So I'm not, you don't make revenue projections based on 1 year and there's other revenue, much more revenue and revenue sharing. When you're getting $60 million a year in revenue sharing and you're spending, your payroll, your active payroll is $57 million. You guys can do the math on that. Plus the central fund money that these teams get. The Rays revenues are well over $300 million and have been for a long time. So everybody says, oh, the attendance. And it's like, no, that's not the way it works, folks. There's a lot of different revenue streams that come in to baseball. And yeah, they're one of the lower revenue teams, but that's by choice. If you'd have built the stadium in 2019 in Tampa, you'd have a lot more revenue, but you didn't want to invest. So now you're stuck with, but for Stu, it's like, I can sit back and get all the revenue sharing money and still make more profit. Or I can go out and pay for a stadium, my portion of the stadium, and, I could probably make the same thing or maybe more, but why risk it when I can just sit back and collect all this revenue sharing money? Why risk it? And that's what why risk it? Well, for the fans who deserve a better stadium and a better location. Yeah, I don't care about that. I'll just stay here at the Trop. Yeah, I don't care about it. And that's what it comes down to. He could have done that deal. But why have to stay here at the Trop? I'm printing money. What do I care? I don't care about the fans. I don't care about my payroll. I don't care about that. I'll just keep the payroll low. Hey, we'll win a few games. Everybody, we'll keep putting out the false narrative. And it's all your fault. The fans don't show up. And, they'll keep printing in the paper and people will believe it. So what do I care? What do I care? It is what it is. And that's the situation we're in. I mean, listen, a lot of this is on baseball. The inequity in payrolls is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's part of that's Stu's fault, but a lot of that is baseball's fault. When the Phillies, I mean, look at this. And I know this is a stark contrast and it happens with the Yankees as well, but it's just ridiculous. Here's the Phillies payroll. Zach Wheeler, who pitched last night, $42 million. Almost 2/3 of what the Rays active payroll is. Pitcher.
By himself.
By himself, the pitcher. We get to the second number. Bryce Harper, 27.5 million. Now we're over. We got 2 players. We're already over the active payroll. We're good. 2 players. Trey Turner, $27 million. And listen, I'm not saying these contracts are great contracts. Oh, because I can hear the Rays fans go, oh, look at the money they're wasting on drinks. It's like, it's not your money. It's not your money. What do you care? Like, the Rays fans act like it's their money. Well, I'm not going to spend that money on Pete Alonso. Look how much he strikes out. Look how many home runs he hits. For God's sakes. Literally, I'm in a Twitter war with somebody saying, Pete Alonso ain't worth the money. It's not your money. You don't think Pete Alonso would look great in the middle of the Rays lineup? Bring the kid home? Now, I know he doesn't want to come here and play in the Trop. That's always been a problem for him and Kyle Tucker, and I don't blame him.
And a lot of other people.
Again, get a new stadium. You could have got a new stadium 8 years ago. They'd already be in it. But your owner won't invest in that. That's the problem. Oh, the hurricane took that stadium should have been replaced 10 years ago. You wouldn't have had to worry about the hurricane coming through. Any other owner would have done that, paid for it, been done with it, moved on. Nope. Aaron Nola, $24 million. Real Muto, $23.8. Nick Castellanos, $20 million. Kyle Schwarber hit a home run last night, had 2 hits, 2 runs. He makes $20 million. He would be by far the highest paid Rays player, by far, and he's 8th on the list for the Phillies. Nick Castellanos, Schwarber, Taijuan Walker, $18 million. Hell, Max Kepler makes $10 million, which is more than any Rays position player except Yandy, who makes $10 million and got hurt last night. And Brandon Lau makes $10.5 million for his got his first double last night to go along with his 4 home runs. Danny Jansen in his 176 average, getting $8 million, which is backup catcher money for the Phillies. I mean, it's ridiculous. And again, part of that's baseball's fault, but part of it's the Rays' fault as well. Now their total payroll is just over $90 million if you include everything. Just over $90 million. So in the average payroll in baseball is about 160 million. You're not even close. And you're in the 10th, 11th largest market. It fluctuates year to year. It's ridiculous. And once again, in terms of revenues, the Rays spend 31% of their revenues on payroll. Second worst in the league. Okay, so if you want to talk revenues, let's just talk percentage. Second worst in the league. And it's always been that way. And this is a narrative that I don't hear anybody talking about. I don't hear anybody talking about this narrative. You had one of the cheapest and best pitching staffs. And I said this in the offseason. Like, take advantage of this, because Shane McClanahan ain't going to be a $3 million player for the rest. And, of course, when he doesn't get free agency, he's going to be gone. Nobody gets hurt all the time. Well, all pitchers get hurt, evidently, especially Rays pitchers. And so, but he's not going to be that cheap. A lot of their pitchers are not going to be this cheap for a while. Look at you, Shane Baz makes 1.4. That ain't going to last. Nope. Drew Rasmussen makes 2.2. That ain't going to last. Pete Fairbanks makes 3.8. That ain't going to last. Who else? Taj Bradley makes $774,000 after taxes. He may be below the poverty line. I mean, a lot of these guys are going to get a hell of a lot more expensive. So why not take advantage of this great pitching staff by adding on some hitters? Go pay for some major league hitters. And I know there's obviously they got a lot of guys on the injured list. I get it. But when you look at this lineup last night, it's like it's a AAA lineup for the most part. It's bad. And it's really hard to compete. But even if they had, Palacios, well, I mean, is he really going to be that much of a factor? Josh Lowe, when he comes back. Yeah, if he gets back to that 1 year where he was really good, but every other year has been shit. So it's like, so if you're a Rays fan, all right, so I'm going to go spend the extra dollars, double the ticket price to go be 10% of the fan base to watch Meisner strike out 3 times. Yeah, no, I'm good. Watch Taylor Walls try to flip a ball with his glove in a clutch situation, in a play where he could just put his hand in and pitch it to the second baseman.
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to watch this. So in a 3-2 game, instead of bringing in someone who's nails, we're going to bring in Englert to pitch and just give up the game. Oh, he gave up 4 runs. Shocking development. I mean, it's a hard watch. It's a really hard watch, and everybody always wants to dump on the fans. And I think that's why I'm asking for solutions. What can we do better? I think it starts with ownership, obviously. You got to be emotionally invested in your team, and you got to know that your owner is emotionally invested in the team. When you know the owner doesn't give a rat's ass, it's really hard. It's really, really hard. And that's why, and when he prices you out of the stadium, that sucks too. So as much as I'm going to get on the fans, like, we got to be better. We got to be better. Don't we? Can't we buy the tickets? Well, then it comes down to economics. And as I explained it to you, nobody's going to go the extra mile for an organization they don't feel is doing that for them. If it was any business, right? If it's any business, if it's a restaurant, you're like, oh, that gets really crowded on Cinco de Mayo, and the food doesn't get any better. I just have to pay 3 times more. I'll go for happy hour on a Tuesday instead.
Think of it this way. Your favorite pizza joint down the street. You go there all the time. You love the owner. Well, that place sells. It's got a new owner, and you don't like the guy. Maybe he's rude to you. Maybe he changed the staff over, and the new people that he hired are just
cut
rude
back
to
on
you.
the quality.
And even if that is still your favorite pizza, how likely are you to go there 3-4 times a week now?
Hell no.
You're not. And that's just pizza.
Yeah, I ain't going back.
You're talking about spending $100 to $200 every time you go to a baseball game, more for some people, and you don't like the owner? I mean, I have a couple of thoughts on this whole thing. Look, the whole thing about the opposing team's fans infiltrating your stadium, that's going to happen everywhere in every sport. You can't do anything about that. When it becomes not fun for the home team, for the people visiting their team and watching their team play, and get steamrolled every single time, that's not fun. If you've got 70% opposing team fans in there, but you're constantly beating them and you're winning, then it's still fun. I don't care how many fans of the opposing team are in the stadium, because they're all going to leave unhappy, and you get to gloat all the way to the parking lot.
That's right.
But that's not the case with the Rays right now. And I don't care if it's at the Trop, if it's at a new stadium, if it's at Steinbrenner. It doesn't matter. If you're consistently losing, it's not fun to go see anyway. And if you're losing because you're not really trying, and I'm not talking about the players, I'm talking about the ownership.
That's right.
If you're losing because of that, that just makes it even worse. And that makes fans not want to go. And not just not want to go, not want to watch it on TV, not want to buy Rays gear, not want to support anything that the team does, which as a fan hurts your heart because you really love the players.
Absolutely, 100%.
And Stu is putting the fans in a bad situation, in a bad place, with conflicting feelings, and it's not fair to the fan base. It's not fair to the players.
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes down to just win. It doesn't matter if you're winning your games, how many of the opposing fans are in the stadium. It does not matter. If you win the game, it's all worth it. And nobody cares. It's only a story.
I get to heckle the 90% that were there.
Yeah. It's only a story if you're losing consistently. And then the way they're losing and the reason they're losing just makes it even worse.
I mean, I guess there could be pushback and say, look, you guys had 10,000 tickets. You could have bought season tickets and then don't sell your tickets. Okay, you got me. If you're a Phillies fan, like they could say, oh, look, we buy our season tickets and we don't sell them. Well, I'd say, well, your tickets are probably reasonably priced. You have a much more accessible stadium. You have a real Major League Baseball stadium, and you also with public transportation that takes me right there and leaves. Great ballpark, Citizens Bank ballpark, beautiful ballpark, and you have an owner that spends money. You have a billionaire owner that spends $287 million on payroll. I'm supporting that guy. I will buy my season tickets. My reasonably priced season tickets, by the way, and I'll support him. He's trying to win. I mean, it's a great experience. It's easy to get there. I got stars to root for. Who the hell? We're going to see Yandy Diaz hit singles. He got a home run last night. He's finally elevating the ball. I get to see Brandon Lau strike out. It's just like, I get to see Ben Rortvedt behind the plate. Like, this is I'm watching the game last night, and I'm trying to get to the box score here, just to compare some of this. And I'm watching Ben Rortvedt, and was it last night? Maybe it was the night before. He can't throw out anybody. He comes to the plate with a runner in scoring position, against Zach Wheeler, and they flash up he's hitting 075. How the F can you stay in the major leagues hitting 075? Like, that's embarrassing. We can't go find a catcher who can play that can hit better than 075. Are you effing kidding me? There's not a catcher available that we could trade for that's better than hitting 075? I think that's where he was at last night. Ben Rortvedt. Oh, sorry. Did he get a hit? Sorry. He got a hit last night. He's up to 095. My bad. He's up to 095. But he's slugging 119. So,
oh my God.
You got that going for you.
That is so bad.
Here's the slugging. Taylor Walls, 235, 119. Curtis Mead, 184. Travis Jankowski, 290. Ooh, wow. He's a tough out. And some of the averages are not that bad, but the slugging and OPS, it's just, there's just nothing there. There's just nothing there. And here's Chandler Simpson. I'll pay money to see him play. Brandon Lau, no thanks. Yandy Diaz, great dude. 1 for 2 last night, hit the 2-run homer. Replaced by Christopher Morel. He went 0 for 2. Shocking development with a strikeout. Yeah. Jonathan Aranda is hitting 317. Love that guy. Love watching him play. Cameron Meisner, starting to regress to the mean. Junior Caminero started hot, but now he's at 242. I think he's going to be a star, but with nobody around him, the dude's never going to see a bunch of fastballs and hit. They just pitch around him. So easy. He's never going to get anything to hit. And for a young player, when you're still trying to develop your plate discipline, to not, to have pitchers pitching around you because there's just nothing else in the lineup, followed by Travis Jankowski, Ben Rortvedt, and Taylor Walls. I mean, it's just, it's tough. It's tough to be a Rays fan. It shouldn't be that way. It's not tough to be a Lightning fan. It's not tough to be a Bucs fan. And again, Major League Baseball is a huge part of the problem that they have no salary floor and they have no salary cap. It's just it's a free for all. And now you got a lot of teams that are just like, I might as well be Stu Sternberg and just stuff my pockets with money. I can't compete at this level. I can't compete with the Phillies. I'm the Pirates. I can't compete. So I get some of it, although, Stu perfected this a long time ago. It wasn't like we're trying. I can't, I'm going to give up. No, it's just like, who cares? I can win regular season games. I can get some good pitching. I'll keep trading my stars for good young pitchers who will come up and be good for a little while. But if they get really good, then I'll trade them. And if you're a Randy or Rosarena and you have a whole section named after you and your fans love you, I'm going to trade you and I'm going to charge him for tickets to come in and say goodbye to the fans. That happened. That actually happened. I mean,
for me, there's I found, look, I used to be a season ticket holder for the Stars. Okay. From their inception, when they moved here through about 2002. And it got too expensive for me. There's two levels of season ticket holders. All right. There's those season ticket holders that just have stupid money and they don't care. And they don't ever sell their season tickets. Those are the ones that say, look, I've got
they'll go unused. They don't care.
Yeah. I will never sell them to an opposing team. I will give them to fans of my team, whatever. I'll do that. So I was not in that level. All right. I was on the level of, I can only afford these season tickets if I can sell a portion of them to help pay for them throughout the season, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, sometimes that was to opposing fans. Like, I didn't know who was buying them. I didn't care.
Right.
And so one time I had a family of four, a little bit older than me at the time. I was in my mid-20s, that had to take the 4 tickets next to me in the same row. And he asked me one time, he's like, hey, how come you guys don't just come to every game, me and my wife? And he was like, and I said, dude, honestly, I can't afford it. I have to sell these to help pay for the rest of them. He's like, tell you what, the games you can't come to, I'll buy them from you. Don't sell them on the open market.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to sit next to some, asshole.
And I'll bring a couple of friends with me or family or whatever, And dude, that was the best deal I ever made,
Right. Fantastic. Yeah.
Because I don't have to sell them to an opposing. But that's the whole thing, is a lot of times these people can't afford to not sell their tickets. And I guess in this day and age, it might be easier to control who they go to. Back in the 90s, you had no idea who was buying.
No idea.
You could not tell unless you go and see.
I would think, at this point we could do some type of badge verification.
In this day and age, you would think so. Yeah.
You could pretty much figure out, you could have some fun with it. Like, okay, if you want to be a Bucs secondary ticket holder, so you will get first right of refusal to buy tickets. Right. You got to pass these tests. You have to take a trivia test, make it worth their while. They have to invest some time and effort, because no opposing fan, hey, let's go down to the game. Oh, want you go buy some tickets? Let's go. Oh, God, I got to go on here and I got to do a test. I don't know who the second baseman was when they first went to the World Series. Aki, what? I don't know. Make them. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. We can figure out some way where, okay, these are Bucs fans to the best of our ability, right? Let's just make an effort. Have a fan-based club, of Rays fans where you're selling them to Rays fans. Or you could go on message boards, really, and on Rays message boards, say, hey, I got tickets tonight. I don't want to sell them to any Phillies fans. What Rays fans want to buy them? Now, here's the problem with that. The Rays fans are going to pay half of what the Philly fans going to pay. So now now it's back to economics. And in this, economic world, far be it from me to tell you what you got to do to put groceries on the table. It's ridiculous. So it's a catch-22. But I think, as it normally does with me, it starts with ownership. It starts with ownership. If we had a real baseball stadium, which we should have had years and years ago, that was centrally located with an owner we support that has deep pockets, we wouldn't have these issues. We wouldn't. There's no reason in the world that the 10th largest market should not have a baseball stadium in the middle of the market that's a state-of-the-art facility. And we right now have guys that are willing to do this and spend their money to do it, to build this entertainment district, to put it in the middle of the market. And once again, there's one impediment to the whole damn thing. Stu Sternberg. I mean, it's comical. And Major League Baseball, what are you doing? I know Manfred's been working behind the scenes. I know that he's trying to get this done. I know that. But at what, when? When? You're the commissioner. All the owners want this. Your expansion money's being held up. Development in Tampa, development in St. Pete. Everybody, all you people can't get together and get it done. It put pressure enough on Stu Sternberg to sell the damn team. It's what are we doing? And we don't have to talk about this shit anymore. It's stadium's on the way. And it just would change the entire dynamic of everything. But this is what we live with. Mm-hmm. And, it's not dissimilar to what's going on in Pittsburgh, what happened in Oakland, what's going on in Minnesota. Like Major League Baseball's got issues with owners that don't spend money or won't spend money. You don't have these issues in football or hockey. You know, even when the Coyotes failed, there were groups lining up to move that hockey team. And now we have the Mammoth, the Utah Mammoth that you're upset about because it doesn't have an S.
So
by the way,
opposed to that.
Mammoths traveled in herds, did they not?
What is it? Is it plural mammoths?
I would think. Yeah, I see a bunch of mammoths over there.
By the way,
Maybe
we're way late for a break here.
Yeah, maybe that's mammoth. I don't know. I've been checking in the break.
Plural.
Yeah.
Yeah, plural is mammoths. So they have one mammoth on their hockey team.
And mammoths were not a singular group. They traveled in herds.
Oh, yes.
Duh. So, and many mammoths better than one mammoth.
There's already a whole Reddit thread that apparently I've initiated that why would mammoth be singular and not plural? That I just pulled up here. It's already going off on Reddit. So there you go. Stupid hockey team.
Because it's cool.
Stupid.
All right. We'll take a break, a much needed break. We'll come back on the other side. I want to get to we got a lot of great comments. So if you guys have answers to this question, how do we get the Phillies fans out? Must we be better? Is it the fans' fault? Whose fault is this? Because I'm tired. 50-50 is fine with me. 90-10 does not work for the opposing team. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. We are in the beautiful Jeeves Law Group air-conditioned studio. Not that the Pelican was bad, but this is nice too. JeevesLawGroup.com is how you get in touch with them. If you're in an accident, if you get an accident, get injury, it's JeevesLawGroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Don't be a number on a big firm. Be with a firm that knows the local legal landscape. That makes a difference. JeevesLawGroup.com. Not an attorney spokesperson. Offices Tampa, St. Pete. Back in 3. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball. And the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCar Tim, live from the Dallas FanStream Sports Jeeves Law Group studios. JP, of course, live from the Tampa Jeeves Law Group FanStream Sports studios. Having fun here today, talking Bucs, commiserating over the Rays, commiserating over the stadium situation again. And you know what? I think whenever the Rays get a new stadium, JP.
Yes, sir.
When the Rays get a new stadium, there might be nothing left to talk about on the JP Peterson Show.
That's not true. We're going to talk about the glorious JP's Craft Beer Pub in center field. That's what we'll be talking about.
Oh, I'm
where the show will be
living in Tampa by then.
The show will be emanating from JP's center field pub each and every day.
That's where the studio is going to be, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
You know, we used to have here in Dallas, in conjunction with the Fan, 105.3 The Fan, they built a sports bar. The radio station built a sports bar. It's called the Fan Sports Lounge, the FSL. We called it the Fizzle. And they had a broadcast booth right in the middle of the restaurant of the bar. Just a clear glass. It was like you're enclosed in the penalty box at a hockey game.
Love that.
And it was just glass all around it. People could come and watch the broadcast, and we'd have special nighttime shows there with guests and stuff. And
let's do it.
It's where Dion robbed us for about $11,000 and didn't pay his tab. But
shocking development.
Yeah,
shocking development. By the way, it's not the first time that happened.
Nope.
But welcome to town, Shiloh. Tell Dad to stay away.
Are you going to change your stance on that when he makes the team and he ends up being a good guy and he gets 6 interceptions this year?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will definitely change my stance on when I'll see it when I believe it.
Yeah, like that's going to happen.
Is there a better chance that the Sanders boys are just kind of average athletes and the only reason they got opportunity was because of their dad, or they're really, really good athletes and they're being held back by the man?
So I think that
because of what their last name is.
I think that with Shiloh, I mean, Shiloh made it at South Carolina on his own. His dad wasn't his coach there, and he made it through 2 coaching tenures there over 2 years. Forgot who was there before Beamer, but even when Beamer came in, Shiloh still made the team under Beamer. So that was without his daddy. But I think Shiloh's got some skills. I think Shiloh's got some skills, man. I really do. And I think he would have thrived outside of his dad's coaching system.
Do you see the video of that AB released of him? Like,
no,
Shiloh was trying to guard him one-on-one.
Oh my God. Well, Shiloh's a safety.
Well, true. Well, I mean, you still got to guard people, don't you?
I guess, yeah.
You can't get toasted like that. Of course, who wouldn't? AB's pretty good route runner.
Even now, right? Like he could probably, if he was.
Yeah, I don't know when that video was made, but he just released them, and it was like, ooh. But yeah, he did that to a lot of people. This just in.
Yeah, that's not.
All right, let's get to the comments from our esteemed commenting staff. Kenneth McClary says, "Good morning, JP. Maybe the Rays should stay on the road. Talent-wise, I would think that the Bucs are better than 6th place, but I would like to see the defense before getting there." Yeah, so I wanted to get to this. The power rankings are out. The CBS Sports had the Bucs as the 6th best team in the NFC.
In the NFC, not the NFL.
Right, in the NFC with the Packers ahead of them and some others.
The Packers?
Yeah, I'll get – I know, right? I'll get to that. The Packers are living off that beatdown of the Cowboys like 2 years ago.
Still.
Yeah, still.
I mean, it got Jordan Love a huge contract, that one win.
I know, right?
And it sent Dak's career into turmoil.
Douglas Batista says the Rays fan boycott is real. Stu pissed off season ticket holders with 40% increase and not spending on the stadium. No offseason investment in hitters. Cheap. Pigs get roasted. But I'll be there tonight. Now that's a true fan.
There you go, right?
Yeah. But you can't count on that many fanatical people. You gotta serve the masses. You gotta give them something to come for. John Hill says, glad Tim survived the duck and cover event yesterday.
Dude, that was wicked, man.
It was a bad storm, huh?
Yeah, John saw my post. Duck and cover.
We already had that. We already put that one up on Pickens. More right runner says Pickens can't even show up to practice on time. Yeah, he had some issues with that, didn't he?
Yep. Had issues with a lot of things in Pittsburgh.
God, like, it's such a Cowboys thing to do. Warren Rudder said, just had a Cowboys buddy of mine say they have the best receiving core in the league.
The who has the best receiving core?
The Cowboys.
Cowboys don't have a receiving core.
They got CD Lamb.
Oh, my God.
And now they have
way,
George
a little bit
Pickens.
overrated himself. I'm not going to lie.
I agree. Nathan Elliott says Pickens is known for going after others when he is frustrated. I only see Lamb playing with his dreads and mopping up on the sidelines. Does Lamb get Rudy and Booty?
Rowdy and Bowdy, yes. He does. Lamb gets a little butt hurt when when things aren't going well.
More right, Reddit says, I'm smelling a winner on Tim's dartboard.
We've got him for you coming at the end of the show. More right, Rudder.
Yes.
And on our live 5 p.m. Central, 6 o'clock Eastern from the Rough, live on YouTube today. Got a big preview for the Truest.
I was busy this weekend, so I didn't get my bets in on the weekend on the matchups. So bad on me. More right, Rudder says my first Bucs game when I was 7 was against the Eagles. The Eagles fan cussed me out walking in the raging.
As Eagles fans will do.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah, raging. Eagles fans are the worst.
They are the worst, man.
Brandon Nose says, to me, the crowd being a majority Philly fan is a reflection on the organization more so than the fans. The Lightning don't have that problem because they helped grow the team with kids for a decade. It's absolute truth. You know, now are there other fans in our building? Yeah, there are. And sometimes it gets to about 30 to 40%, usually closer, regular season when it's closer to the playoffs. Because as I mentioned, I think fans sell off their tickets to Toronto fans who come down for the spring, to get some money for playoffs. And I'm okay with that. But when it's 90%, it's, you never had 90% Toronto fans in the Amalie Arena.
Yeah.
You never had now, but the Bucs have a problem with it too. TBH. They have a problem with it too. There's times when there was a regular season game, I think it was last year with the with the Eagles, again, with these Philly people. As obnoxious as they are, they're diehard fans. They're diehard fans, and you got to give them that. They show up. A lot of times we don't. Now, they show up to beat up other people, but, we don't even show up a lot of times.
Good Lord.
Nathan says, doesn't matter, indoor, outdoor, St. Pete, Tampa, different ownerships, a history of winning. Rays games are still dominated by opposing fans. When will people question the loyalty of the Rays fan base? Well, I'm not questioning it. I know there's no loyalty there, but it's because of the owner.
Yeah.
I know there's tons of interest in baseball, but he has absolutely taken the joy out of Major League Baseball for so many, me included. Absolutely. Robbed us of our joy for Major League Baseball. And I just can't wait till there's another owner and we've never had a good owner. Namoli, Stu, never had a good owner in baseball. Never. And it's just
that's unfortunate. Yeah.
Rick is in here, said, did Stu open up the family section for Philly fans? Oh, yeah, the friends and family section that was completely blocked off. Yeah. No, he filled it up with Phillies fans.
Was Stu at the game? Was he at the game yesterday? Did anybody knows?
I don't know. Well, he
high-fiving Phillies fans?
Yeah, exactly. He won't get heckled by Phillies fans. They'll be like, hey, thanks for putting this loser on the field. Appreciate it. Thanks for not spending any money. Awesome. Thank you.
Huh.
Oh, but I love this one. Bolts Rays, Bucs fan.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge, we're in the mix for him. Some of you people. We're in it on Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
No, you're not. The Rays made an offer to Aaron Judge. Remember, this was a big story last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 40% of his market value, but we made an offer. So we're in it. Stu's trying.
We offered him 10 years, $200 million. Hey, we can't help it if he didn't take it.
We tried. We were in it.
We were in it.
Stu's fault letting Randy go. Well, there you go. All facts. Stu. Stu, the poorest millionaire ever. Yeah, ain't that the truth?
It's funny how players want to be paid for their services, or they'll just go to someone who will pay them.
Who
right?
will pay them? Yeah,
That's weird.
Shocking development. Loyalty doesn't play a role. James says, "Where is MLB? I'm so over this team. World Series staff with a triple or double A lineup. Already pitching staff, by the way, not other staff. Always crying poor, and TBT covers for them. Wake me up when the new owner's in place. No need to spend like the Phillies, but can we get to 120? Yeah, right? Can we get to 120? Why can't Stu be like the Glazers? Exactly, because they got money and he don't. Stu taking notes how to be a champion, how to spend money. Yeah, go look at the Phillies. Michael Robeo, first time I've seen you in here, or maybe I'm just can't remember. Says audio is cutting out like crazy again. Yesterday it was the same thing. Just want to say something. Don't want to miss out on a single word. Thank you. Wow, that's awesome, Michael. Are we having audio dropouts today? Because we have good Wi-Fi today.
Yeah, I'm not aware. I'm hearing everything. I'm not sure what's happening.
Anybody else?
Yeah, let us know if somebody else was having audio issues, because it
might be on your end, Michael. But thank you for telling us. I really appreciate you listening, and thank you for those kind words. And definitely tell us if there's issues, because we're hearing. We don't necessarily always hear what goes out to you guys. So with this technology, so you got to definitely keep us posted. Okay. Thomas Casper says MLB neglects its product in Tampa Bay and always has. You know, you look around other leagues, and the National Hockey League doesn't have. I don't think they have as much revenues. Baseball is, if I believe, the last time I saw their total revenues, it was over $12 billion
for baseball.
Yeah, double check me on that. Like, check out total revenues, because they always report total revenues. And if that's the case, you shouldn't have these issues. You shouldn't have two teams playing in, quote, minor league ballparks. And that all just becomes, they pander to these weak owners. Get them the hell out.
$12.1 billion for the 2024 season.
And what were the revenues for NFL, if you don't mind me asking, and NBA? Just if you could compare the top four sports.
Sure.
As I do some more of these comments. NHL fixed their mistake with Bill Davidson and Vinnick, but MLB kicks the can with cheap ass Stu. Absolutely. I mean, Davidson wasn't a bad owner. Davidson wasn't the owner. He sold it to the Cowboys, Oren Koulis and Len Barry. Those knuckleheads. They didn't have any money, as Torch said. And then they got rid of those guys and brought in Vinnick. Yeah. Let me know when you have those total numbers.
Okay.
John Hill said, I watched playoff hockey on TV versus the Rays last night. I was flipping back and forth because, it's my job to watch the Rays. It's so hard to watch. It's like you turn on hockey and it's just like the arena's packed, and I know it's playoffs versus regular season, but my God, even regular season hockey is better than this. But
all right, I've got this ready for you when you want it.
Okay, go ahead.
So the NFL, this goes to 2023. The NFL was at $20 billion.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA was at $13 billion. Major League Baseball, $12 billion. Premier League, $7 billion. I guess that's a soccer.
Yeah. That's
billion. pretty happened in May.
Move to they move to have their name. The man
Doing here.
I like them. Polygamous better.
Kraken community. I've explained. For those of you, do we have?
That's mascot.
And their colors are
Up to 95. There's a bison. Conferences that I can name. I have to follow Congo. You just look at
Stanley Tucci and everything is very eye-opening.
that whole
I love the
Angels and Demons.
Right.
Yeah.
Those were
Vinci
great.
Code. So good.
I didn't
So
I didn't
good.
read the books until after I saw the movies.
The books, I bet the books are really good.
The books are way better than the movies, but
Yeah.
the movies are still great too.
Which of the kept all we should have kept all the great Rays players. We should, I wonder if like you go, but we should like redraft one day, do like a redraft of like what would happen if we had like a billionaire owner who like kept our players? What would our team look like? And I'm not saying, a lot of these guys that leave and get big contracts, they don't necessarily pan out, except maybe Willie Adames. A lot of them get hurt and, the money's not worth it.
I mean, y'all had that chick that was on Desperate Housewives playing third base for y'all for a long time, right? She was pretty good.
Yeah, she was hot. But even by the way, Evan Longoria will be at the Sports Club of Tampa Bay Hall of Fame induction, which is about a month from today. So we're getting ready for that. So get your tickets, Sports Club of Tampa Bay.
Are you still just going to host it? You're not being inducted yet?
Just hosting.
Okay.
I get sworn in on the board next week.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're a step closer. Does that mean you can vote for yourself?
Ooh, never thought of that. Interesting.
You never know.
I actually have to, I have a reason to put me in. I'll be in. Sergio Biltres, good morning to you. Said, good morning, gents. Do you know if we have even started repairs on Tropicana Field? Write that down. I've been meaning to do some research on that. I don't know. I don't think we've seen anything visible. Not sure. Because we should start seeing some visible work being done. I'm sure as soon as, the fabric shows up from China by wherever it's shipped through, that will, there'll be a headline in the Times. James says the Phillies are run the right way. They scout, they draft, they develop, and then they pay. That's what a sports franchise is all about, unlike the Rays, and it's why MLB must oust Stu. Well said, James. That is the comment of the day. There are 10 significant college teams that have the name that does not end in S. For example, the Fighting Irish.
That's why I call them the Fighting Irishes.
So there's 10 significant teams?
What's significant, John? Come on.
Is it the Cyclone or the Cyclones? It's the Cyclones, his Iowa State team, right?
Thundering Herd?
Thundering Herd. Marshall, that is significant, yeah.
I mean, are they significant? Like, I don't know that they're significant.
The Thundering Herd. Jojo White says, stop hating on primetime SMH. These kids can't help their dad was famous.
I mean, he's kind of got a point.
He does.
Kind of got a point.
I mean, what are you going to say? No, Dad, don't start me.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. No, you're right.
But they can also respond to it differently as adults. Shadur's sort of falling in line with his father.
Shiloh fired his father. So
we
got to give him a shot, right? Yeah.
He said, Drew, help. I got to get away from this maniac that shares my last name. Find me a team.
I will say this, JoJo, by the way, Dion and I have a checkered past.
Sure.
We used to be good friends, and then he used me to get more money in Colorado, and now I don't like him. No, listen, I respect, and I think Dion's done a great job in Colorado. He resurrected that program. And he does a lot of things that other coaches don't in terms of making the kids go to class, don't use profanity. There's a lot of, and listen, and he's, as I heard, somebody did this, I think it was, I forget who it did an editorial on, why dump on Dion for being, invested in his son's future and working with his sons. And you know what? And I said, you know what? You're damn right. That we should be celebrating. That's a part of Dion that we should really, really celebrate. We can all take shots at the way he does some stuff. I get it. And I think the way he handled the draft, I've been a long time supporter of a lot of stuff that Dion does, even though he screwed me over. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we should celebrate is him being involved in his kid's life, because there are a lot of dads that aren't. that just completely abdicate their responsibilities. Way too many of them. Way too many of them. So when we have a dad that's disinvolved, we should celebrate that part of it. Now, you can be over the top, which I think he did with Shador, telling other teams don't draft to us. It's not a us, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a him. And I think maybe that was a little misguided, and Deion should know better. He knows what the NFL is about. You can't do that. You want to try to show up the owners and GMs.
I don't know that he does, JP.
It's not going to work.
He runs the NFL. Like when he played here, he thought he run the NFL.
Yeah. Well, you don't. You don't.
Not even close.
And it's not. This is not about race or color or anything about it. This is about, you got to be part of a team. You got to be part of a team structure. If at least that's what I think football and most sports are about. You can't. It's great to have individual stars, and it's great for them to, be prime. But to me, the best cultures, the best winning teams have stars that fit within the team structure. And if you want to be as a quarterback and separate yourself from that from day one, I don't think that's a good strategy. I don't think other teams are going to sign up for that. And I think that's maybe where he overstepped his bounds a little bit. And to his credit, he recanted some of that stuff later on as he got closer to the draft when he realized maybe, this wasn't working out too well, Yeah. So, I mean, look, it worked for Deion. His self-promotion worked very well for him. And it was always about him and always about the money for him. And it worked out well for him.
But why did it work out well for him? Because he was one of the top talents in the league, talent-wise. Shador is not.
And he also wasn't a quarterback.
Right,
there's a singularity to being the best shutdown corner. Go shut that guy down. He's not working within a team structure a lot of times. It's like you go man on that guy, you return punts, you play a little offense. His individual skills could shine, because in those individual skills helped out the collective. When you're a quarterback, you can't do that. You can't separate yourself like that.
And when you're a middle round talent and your dad's the one hyping you, then teams aren't going to put up with that. They're not going to put up with the showboating for a middle round draft pick, all right, which is what a lot of people figured he was. He wasn't a first round draft pick. Deion, number one, he did his self-promoting. He didn't have a dad behind him calling teams all the time and then going on social media telling everybody what to think about their kid. It was him self-promoting himself. And while that was a distraction for some teams when the draft came around, he was just that good. They didn't care. He's like, I don't care what he does. Look at him on the field. We're going to take him. And look, going back to kind of our youth, when Jack Elway was pulling that stunt with John, when John was coming out of Stanford, said he wasn't going to play for the Colts, I hated it then. I was like, that's not what sports is about. I was a teenager, and I already knew. Right. And then you had Archie Manning kind of pulling the same thing with Eli, right, with the Chargers. And I'm a huge Manning fan and supporter, and I hated that. I just hate when a player tries to dictate where he's going in the draft. Right now, I get a little self promotion, and I get, man, I'd really like to play in a warm weather climate, but you know what? I'm going to be really happy just to be able to play in the league because that's my dream.
Right.
I get that, but when your dad comes out, whether it's your agent or your dad or both or whatever, and says, my kid ain't going to this team. He ain't going to that team. Well, you know what? Then he might not get drafted until the freaking 7th round.
Yeah, exactly.
So take it.
All right, we'll take our break, come back on the other side, get to some more of your comments, talk a little hockey, hot playoffs are in it. There's some interesting storylines as well in the NBA, so we'll talk a little NBA as the playoffs roll on. What the hell are the Celtics doing? I thought that was interesting the other night. Mm-hmm. And Steph Curry may be out. What's going to happen with the Warriors? And we're going to get to the Bucs as well, the power rankings, and why this is good. Why this is exactly what you want if you're a Bucs fan. Hey, we're brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, you knuckleheads. Get the buy one, get one free. It's a match situation at the Gold and Diamond Source. You buy a $500 gift card, you get a $500 gift card for free. And that's up till May 12th. So get on in there. You got a mom and a wife, right, to buy for. $1,500 goes to her. $500 goes to the mom. You only spend $500. Bada bing, bada boom. You get it done. Looking good. $500 gift cards, right? Let them go. And they love to go shopping with the gift cards, right? Don't go pick out something maybe they don't want, right? Go to the Gold and Diamond Source, double your money, 2 $500 gift cards, and let them go in, do the shopping together. How cool is that? They will love you forever. So take care of it at goldanddiamond.com, or better yet, go into the Gold and Diamond Source and tell them JP sent you. Great folks in there. All right, back in 3 with some Bucs talks in your comments. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Diamond Days are back at the Gold and Diamond Source, Tampa Bay's largest jewelry superstore. You know, I love Diamond Days because right now you can get up to 20% off all the diamonds in the inventory, including April's birthstone. Plus, you can take advantage of 0% financing for up to 5 years. This means that if you finance $5,000, your monthly payment would only be $83. Best of all, your Gold and Diamond Source diamond never loses its value. And listen up, all soon-to-be newlyweds, here's your chance to win a $2,500 shopping spree at the Gold and Diamond Source, along with a wedding cake for up to 100 guests, created by the renowned celebrity chef, The Cake Girl, as seen on the Today Show. Entering is easy. Simply visit the Gold and Diamond Source on Omerton Road for your chance to win big. If you want your special someone to say yes, make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond. Visit us at 3800 Omerton Road in Clearwater. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. Hey, Tampa Bay, it's time to get your AC unit ready for summer. And here at Third Generation Plumbing and Mechanical, we recommend getting ahead of the game, keeping your family cool before the hot summer months with one of our maintenance agreements in the hopes of avoiding the dreaded emergency service call. Our maintenance agreements include, we'll test the electrical components, check and tighten high and low voltage wire connections. We'll check the refrigerant for manufacturer's performance levels, test thermostats, calibrate if needed, clean the evaporator coil and condenser coil, and clear and treat the drain line and drain pans. Just call us at 813-961-8024 for the special rates, and a human will actually answer. 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on Fans.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. It's the roll on here, brought to you by the official sports bar and grill, the Riveters. Great place over there if you're heading over to the Rays game tonight, even if you're a Phillies fan. They got a ribeye cheesesteak over there that even you Philly people will absolutely go bonkers.
Oh,
over.
my.
Yes. Oh, the onions and peppers, mushrooms, cheese, and it's that ribeye steak that just, it's not that crappy steak you get at Geno's. With the cheese. Have you ever been to Geno's?
The fake cheese. I've been to both. Yeah, I've been to both.
We went there back when I was on News Channel 8. Of course, we were out the camera. I'm going to get behind there, fix up some of these. So they let me cook them up a little bit, showing me how to do it. And they put the frozen meat on there, and then they put the cheese whiz on there. Nah. I know that's the Geno's way. It's not. When I ate it, it tasted good. It tasted good, but man, did it sit in my stomach. Ooh. Now, give me now at Riveters, it's real ribeye. Like it's real, like they cut it off, they roast it, and they cut it, and it's just so tender. So the meat obviously makes a difference. The roll they put it on is absolutely fantastic. Then you get your onions and peppers and cheese, mushrooms, whatever you like. And I like it loaded, like it absolutely loaded, extra cheese. Get the cheese pull. Oh, so good. So
That's
good
the
at
best.
Riveters. What to watch tonight at Riveters, because it's the best place to watch games. You got the Knicks and Celtics at 7:00. The Knicks win game 1. Bridges was unbelievable in that game, and his Boston jacked up 75 threes in that game, some ridiculous number.
Right.
They won't do that again. But New York came from 20 points back to beat them, and there was a hell of a finish in that game in overtime. So you got New York and Boston at 7:00. 9:30, Denver and OKC. By the way, first time ever in the second round that all road teams have won. Interesting.
How about that?
Yeah, so Denver takes a 1-0 series lead. Knicks have a 1-0 series lead. So those two NBA playoff games tonight, 7:00. It's the Dirty Panthers, no longer the Stinking Panthers. Now they're they should be the Dirty Stinking Panthers.
The Dirty Stinking Panthers. There you go.
The Dirty Stinking Panthers down 1-0 to Toronto. Anthony Stolar is having to be taken out on a stretcher thanks to the shot to the back of the head. So you can watch that at 7:00. The Dirty Stinking Panthers up against Toronto. Toronto with the 1-0 series lead. And then your Stars are in Winnipeg to start that series. 2 incredible Game 7 wins there.
How about that?
Holy moly. We didn't really talk about that Game 7 win, did we, for Dallas? I was watching that at a bar on Broadway.
Yeah, you texted me. You texted me saying, now this is a Game 7.
Yeah, I was sitting there listening to some great country music.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching it. I'm like, because that game was over. Like, Dallas was beat.
Rantanen scored the first Stars goal with just over 12 minutes left in the third, down 2-0, and they hadn't even sniffed the goal. Like they were dead
it was
in water.
over. Yeah. Colorado was just shutting them down. Then he gets the second one. Take me through the whole thing. Remind me, because
so I don't remember the clock, but so Rantanen gets the first goal. He gets the second goal a couple of minutes later on just an absolute clinic up the slot, juking 3 defenders, 3 of his former teammates off for the Avalanche.
That was, yes.
Yeah, and goes in and then backhand top shelf. And then they get the go-ahead goal on a great pass to Wyatt Johnston, who's on the goal line, right-handed goalie to the left side of the goalie and just right behind the goalie. Just at a bad angle. It was just a beautiful, beautiful goal set up by Rantanen. Had a helper on that one too. And then Rantanen gets the empty net for the hat trick. The only third period hat trick in NHL Game 7 history against his former team.
I guess that the money they spent is pretty going to be good for Rantanen.
Man, could there be and after hearing his entire story, and of course I was familiar with him in Colorado, for 10 years, and I hated his guts because it's our rival, and I'm like, man, he's really good. I wish he'd play for us. And, hearing that story, I don't know if you heard the story or not about how he ended up in Carolina back in January.
No, give me the whole story.
So they knew that Colorado knew they weren't going to re-sign him. And they were shopping him. And he said, he told the GM in Colorado, he's like, man, just make me an offer. I'll take less money to stay here. Like, he wanted to end his career in Colorado. And he even gave him a list of teams. Like, look, if you have to, if you have to shop me, I'll play for any one of these teams. Carolina was not on that list. They blindly shipped him to Carolina. Carolina took the deal, not even knowing if he would sign an extension with them. That's what we were just talking about with the Pickens thing, right? You don't make that trade,
right?
Capital, unless you know he's going to re-sign with you.
Right.
Carolina did it blindly, crossing their fingers. And when Rantanen got there, this was from the Spit and Chicklets podcast that I heard the story. When he got there, he looked the GM in the eye and said, "Look, I'll play for any one of 3 teams in this league, and you're not one of them. So deal me." So that's how he ended up at the trade deadline coming to Dallas. And, of course, Dallas was on that list. And boom, here he is. He signs the extension. He'll end his career here in Dallas, and we couldn't be happier.
Well, what was the other team? Do we know?
I don't know. They never did say. I think there were two other teams besides Dallas, but they never did talk about it.
And one of them wasn't Colorado, obviously.
One of them was not Colorado because he was given that list to Colorado. Look, I'll play for any one of these, whatever, 3 or 4 teams.
Okay.
Maybe the Lightning was on that list. I don't know.
I wonder.
You wonder. But
what's he making in Dallas?
What is his new contract for? Let me see. 8 years, $96 million. Carolina got first 2 round picks, 2 first round picks, 2 third round picks, and Logan Stankoven in the trade.
So 96.
So Carolina came out ahead pretty well too.
So would you say 96 over 8?
Yeah.
So 12 million AAV.
Yep. Not bad for Mikko Rantanen.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a lot less than Kucher's making, Pointer's making, but yeah. No state tax in Dallas either, or in Texas either.
No state tax in Texas. So I don't know. We'll see, man. It's right now he's, and it's funny because last year at the trade deadline, the Stars got Chris Tanev because we desperately needed some leadership on the blue line. Chris Tanev comes in and was a spark throughout the postseason. And all this time we thought Chris Tanev was going to re-sign with the Stars, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurt, man, because they gave up quite a bit to get him. And I think he just changed his mind once he was here. I don't think he liked playing in Dallas. So which is his right. He can change his mind up until the deal is signed. So Rantanen just went ahead and signed the extension immediately upon getting here, and it's worked out well for everybody. And good God, what a force he has been here in the first round of the postseason. And we're hoping he can have that same spark against a really, really good Winnipeg team here in the second round. By the way, 4 Canadian teams in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs for the first time.
How about that?
20 years?
Yeah. It's so funny.
It's if you want to call Edmonton and Winnipeg Canadian teams, because, Alberta and Saskatchewan, they're about to join the USA. So,
That's right. Smartly.
Yeah. So
smartly, by the way. Yeah. Because that, from what I've read, constitutionally, that could actually happen.
Oh, for sure.
They could break away from they're divided in Canada too between the Eastern and the West. The East and the West is very much divided, just like very much the blue states and the red states in the United States. Very interesting. By the way,
Canada's just so you know, Canada's a federation politically, which means their states, their provinces have way more rights as opposed to the federal laws, even than we have in America.
Well, it was supposed to be that way in America, but the federal government is,
it was
through the professional deep state that you can't remove.
We could have been the United Federation of States.
Yeah. Much better when states had more rights, in my opinion. It's interesting. You look at the ESPN website, which is, the partner of the NHL.
Yeah.
Their top headlines, their main page. There's not one hockey playoff story, not one. There's a story on Tusk's up. Utah unveils mammoth name and logo. Everything else are the top headlines. Cowboys, Jags release wide receiver Davis. Brady DeSanders used draft slide as motivation. Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff, but it's nothing. They just don't give a rat's ass about the NHL.
And that's a shame too, because the NHL deserves all promotion right now.
They really do. Their playoffs are just unbelievable. And there's not one. You watch Get Up. It's 2 hours of NBA and a little bit of NFL.
I can't.
Not one word on the NHL. Not one word on.
I've almost bailed on Good Morning Football these days because Peter Schrager's gone.
And by the way, he could not look more out of place on Get Up.
I know.
They got him in a suit and tie, and it's just like.
No, he does not look like he's. I texted him trying to get him on the show to come on the show, and I have not heard back yet. So I just don't think he's in a real good place.
I don't either. I think
so we may not hear from him. I'll give him a text here in another month or so. I don't want to beat him down too bad, but
I think he might be regretting that. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
A lot of money.
He just doesn't look comfortable at all.
No,
He's
a weird deal, man.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. Yeah, sorry guys. There's a lot of people said our audio is choppy today. I don't know if it's your internet or what, but it's and somebody's like, yeah, there's elevator music too. Audio is down. It's like
that was for our
track.
Well, I mean, the so-called elevator music was our comments music.
Yeah, I think that kind of makes the audio choppy sometimes.
Well, then we will eliminate it right now.
Yeah. Stu got to JP Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
my Wi-Fi is good. My Wi-Fi is pumping, baby. Now this is back early on in the show though, so we're back to good. Sorry about that, guys. We will deal with that accordingly.
Yep. We do this for you, so y'all let us know if it's good or not.
Yeah, the B's in this morning says the fans don't deserve anything, JP. Sports equals tourist attraction, not 1985 anymore.
I don't know where he's going with that.
He said they ordered the Trop roof from Temu, the Chinese site, with $2. We're getting a Temu roof.
Wow,
that should handle a Cat 5 storm. Let's see.
That means it's not going to fit either.
I mean, isn't it like? Can we just predict this? If they do decide to fix the Trop, and I guess they're going to go forward with it at this point. I don't know. At least they've approved the funds. But again, have they started to actually do the work? What are the chances another storm comes by and rips the roof off again?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. You're going to put a fabric roof on the Trop. I'm no engineer, so I shouldn't talk out of hands. That just doesn't seem like a really smart idea. It just doesn't. Because with climate change, the storms are getting so much worse.
That's right.
Yeah. By the way, did you hear about the new
controlling storms?
Did you hear about the new ice sheet that developed?
I have
biggest
not.
Ice sheet gain in a century. I thought
Trump's at it again.
Al Gore said it was all going to be gone. It would all be melted by now.
Yeah, like while I was still in high school, it was supposed to be gone.
And Florida would be underwater. Huh. Interesting.
Huh.
I mean, we don't have a serious storm or flooding event in Tampa for 100 years, and we get one, and it's a climate change. Climate change. Here we go. Crimson Tide. Okay. Wolfpack. Okay. Yep. Cardinal.
Stand for Cardinal.
Green Machine. Fighting Illini. Midshipmen and Orangemen.
Didn't they just used to be orange? Or aren't they? I think they're just orange now. They dropped the men. I think they're just the Syracuse Orange.
Because they thought it was Trump?
No, but they have.
So
I think they are. But I mean, still doesn't end in an S, but I think they're just orange now.
Okay. Yeah, looks like we were down for about 12 minutes. Sorry, guys.
12 minutes?
Yeah. Went from people started complaining about 8 o'clock and it went through 8:12. John Hill says last one is Tulane Green Wave. Yeah, that's the first one I noticed. Yeah,
right.
Fighting Illini. Yeah, I don't have any problem with those names. Well, it's not the Wolfpack.
Is kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. Green Wave is dumb. They didn't what they used to be. They used to be something else.
But you gotta love the Gumby mascot though.
I am Gumby, damn it.
Michael LaRue says Utah Mammoth. I still like Utah Soakers better.
How about the Salt Lake City Sister Wives? That's what they should have been.
Yeah. There you go. Michael LaRue says Tom Brady was asked why Shedeur Sanders fell, and he said he wasn't involved in the draft process, even though Mark Davis said Brady would be involved in picking a quarterback. Well, he did pick a quarterback. He picked Geno.
Yeah, he got Geno.
Yeah, but he did not draft Shedeur. And they had history together.
Yeah, they did.
And a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. Tells you a lot. Nathan Elliott says Schrager should have stuck with Good Morning Football. Following the money does not always lead to greater things. That's for damn sure. He was such a great fit. Like, why can't people just be happy with, I'm sure he was making a lot of money at NFL Network too. I mean, I don't know. I don't know his inner workings. I don't know what his life was like. And maybe he just, but man, when somebody throws a lot of money at you, it's probably really hard to turn it down. But
well, and he did stuff for Fox too. I don't know if he's going to be. I don't think he can continue to do his stuff for Fox Sports while he's with ESPN.
Yeah. John Hill says It says the College of Cardinals are meeting in Italy today, but it's not a real college since they have no football team. What would the NIL be for the Vatican?
No, but they do have an S on the end of their name.
Yeah.
They do have an S on the end of their name, the Vatican
not
Cardinals.
The Cardinal. Yeah.
It's not a tree.
So that's why Stanford's it's the Cardinal. Well, their mascot is the tree.
It's the car. Yeah, it's a tree.
One.
It's the name of a tree. It's a cardinal. Yeah, not the bird. Yeah.
Can you imagine the Vatican's football team? Ooh,
be a bunch of 80-year-old dudes.
No, their NIL would be like 12 billion.
Because all the Catholic churches would be paying them money like they are now.
Yeah. Mailman said, you can't trust the Chinese. Who can you trust? Hey, listen, if Stu could order the roof from Temu, you know he would. You know he would.
He probably buys his socks on Temu.
Rick says the ice sheet is full of all the plastics in the water.
We were warned about that too.
If we could keep all the plastic up condensed in the ice cap, I think that's probably a good place for it. Right? John Hill says it was the best 12 minutes ever. Screw off, dude.
Probably not wrong. I can't wait to go back and listen to it now after the show.
That's what she said. Shut up, you guys. All right. Those are all your great comments. You guys are jerks.
Hey, Rick, this one's for you.
There you go. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Bucs football. We're going to look at all these great teams that are ahead of the Bucs in the power rankings. What? Yeah, I'm excited about this Bucs team. We get to see the rookies come in this weekend too, so we'll get a look at those, the new guys. We are brought to you by the great folks in On-Site Construction and Restoration. Hey, if you're thinking about doing something to your home, maybe you want to add on. Instead of buying a new home, just add a few extra stuff, maybe add on a second story. You could do that as well. OnSiteConstructionFL.com is the website. Great folks over there. For Jason Fawcett in the studio here. Super guy's been doing this for a long, long time. Great family man. You're going to get your money's worth. You're going to get it on time. You're going to get it on budget. They have great creativity as well. Check out the website and look at the great work they do. OnSiteConstructionFL.com. It's hard to find an honest contractor. We did that part for you. 1,450 jobs plus in the local area, over 20 years experience. OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Back in 3.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Summer is coming. Do not get caught with your unit unprepared. your AC unit, of course. The awesome folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC have a special going on right now. You get a free 1-year maintenance package with any purchase of a new unit. They have special 60-month financing as well, so you don't need a huge chunk up front. Third Generation has an impeccable reputation built over 30 years of doing business. They do plumbing, AC, mechanical work, anything you need around the house. They are trusted folks. Go to the website and read the 5-star reviews. Deidre said, great company that always arrives timely. We have used them for our AC both in home and business and have been very happy. The staff is knowledgeable and professional. I would recommend Third Generation again and again. So give Third Generation a call at 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We rode on this hump day. Hope you guys are having a good day. We're brought to you by Cafe Paradiso. Have you had a good traditional Italian meal lately? The favorite of ESPN Sal Palantonio, who came on here and raved about Cafe Paradiso. So if you have not tried some of the great food of our friend Paolo, you've got to get over there. You got to get over there. God, I am missing my lasagna. I gotta go get
Veal piccata.
Chicken marsala. Veal parmesan. A branzino. The sea bass is so good there. Oh, I had that the farfalle salsiccia, the sausage with the pasta and the mushrooms and so good. The sauce is so good. Go over to Cafe Paradiso. Get on Open Table, ranked number 3 on Open Table, and you will absolutely love it. You will love it. You will love it. You will love it so much. All right, you want to talk a little Bucs?
Let's talk about how the Bucs are being disrespected this offseason once again.
All right, so PFF, they did all their post-draft rankings, and this is their power rankings. They got the Ravens number 1. Number 1.
The whole NFL.
Yeah. So they addressed, we got Ronnie Stanley back, added DeAndre Hopkins. Okay.
Which is a non-factor. He'll be a non-factor.
I think that as well. Then they got the Eagles second, even though they lost Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I still think the Eagles are going to be really good. And they re-signed Zach Bond.
I wish failure.
The Detroit Lions, they have lost Ben Johnson, their OC, and Aaron Glenn, their DC. Still got a great roster, although Carlton Davis is gone. Not that that's going to kill him. But they also lost Zadarius Smith and Melifonwu.
They never really had Zadarius Smith.
That's true.
They traded for him mid-season.
They don't have him anymore.
Yeah.
Of course, Aiden Hutchinson's coming back. So the Lions are 3. I think they're going to take a dip.
I do too.
The Lions are going to take a dip this year. Buffalo is number 4. I mean,
see, I put Buffalo ahead of the Lions.
Yep,
for sure.
All right. Buffalo's good team, and I still think they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I think their window's open for just a little bit longer. Josh Allen he's just getting better. They got the Chiefs 5th. I think the Chiefs may continue their decline. They won a lot of one-score games last year. What were they, 12-0 in one-score games? That just can't continue. It can't continue.
Yeah, I could see a situation where the Chiefs miss the playoffs.
Wow.
In the AFC.
Wow. He's got 6. They've got the Washington Commanders. Everybody's very hot on the Washington Commanders. And listen, Jaden Daniels he good. We saw that first. We still should have. You think everybody would be this high on Washington if we beat them in the playoffs? No. And we
would have made the NFC Championship game last year. Yeah. Full credit. Full credit to the Commanders, but I don't see them. They'll be good. They'll be a 9-10 win team next year.
Yeah. They got Deebo Samuel, Laramie Tunsil.
Marshawn Lattimore.
Defense finished 29th in EPA per play. So, but they drafted a lot of good defenders, so we'll see. The Vikings are 7. The Vikings are 7 with J.J. McCarthy.
No, they're
as
not
they
in my
transition. I mean, I got to see it before I can, did he play well early on? Yeah, but the league really didn't have a chance to kind of get the film and adjust to what he does well. So I think, would you rather have J.J. McCarthy or Baker Mayfield?
No question.
There you go. But they're 7th in PFF. And the Denver Broncos are 8th.
Okay.
They were 2nd in EPA allowed per play last year, so their defense is strong. They added Evan Ingram. So Bo Nix, I think, continues to get better. And Sean Payton knows how to win. Let's just be honest.
I can see the Broncos win in the West.
Yeah, I think they're on the come. I do. They have the Rams 9th. The Rams, I think their playoff run maybe surprised some folks, but no more Cooper Kupp.
Stafford's 37.
Yeah. I don't think, they got young Jared Verse.
Defense will be good, I think.
Defense has gotten better. No question, thanks to those ex-Seminoles. But are they better than the Bucs? I don't think so. I don't think the Rams are better than the Bucs.
No.
All right, they got the Bucs at 10th. I think the Bucs. I don't think there's any question the Bucs are a better team. You add Hassan Reddick, Abuka, 2 really good corners.
You've improved your defense dramatically, and that was your issue last year.
Yeah, and then it's like, what about linebacker? We're better with Servassier Dennis. He just has to stay healthy. Now, this was a chronic shoulder problem. They say it's fixed. So if he can stay healthy, and Lamont, it's all about staying healthy. Every team, you could say this about every team in the league. Right. But I think their defense is improved. And Antoine Winfield has to be better, for God's sakes. He just had an absolute throwaway season because he was injured, and I think much worse than people know. So you move Tyke Smith to safety. And again, it's kind of a positionless defense, but just look at the upgrades of personnel. I think Christian Izien is an underrated player. I think he's a real tough. He's a good tackler underneath, but you add Servassier Dennis to an inside linebacker core that was awful. And I love KJ Britt, JJ Russell, good dudes, but they just were not good enough. They couldn't cover. They were exploited. So I think Servassier Dennis is a much better player. And I think Walker they've got some depth there with Deion Jones. I think they're better than you think. And Hassan Reddick, listen, if he can be a double-digit sack guy, I don't see why he can't. That totally changes what your defense looks like. Completely changes the dynamic.
So I have a theory about this list because I know how PFF operates.
Oh, you do?
So I don't have your list in front of me, but go down the list again. What you said the Bucs are what number overall?
10.
10. So read
the
off.
Packers right behind them.
Okay, read off the top 9, but don't read me the team. Tell me who the head coach is. Just name the head coaches 1 through 9.
Sorry. I just went off my sheet here.
Okay. So you said
the ones ahead
Ravens are number 1. So we're talking John Harbaugh.
Harbaugh, yeah.
Eagles are number 2, right? Sirianni.
Which just doesn't I still can't believe Sirianni won.
No, I can't either.
It's hard.
Okay. And then 3 was
Campbell.
Okay.
Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, Campbell. Yeah. Then you got Buffalo Bills. McDermott. Yeah.
Okay.
Then you got Andy Reid.
Okay.
The Chiefs. Then you got the Commanders.
Okay. Dan Quinn.
Yeah. And which I think, Dan Quinn, when he went there, I know everybody, a lot of people were like,
I was big on it. I was huge on him.
Yeah. When he took over the Falcons, there was, I worked with him for basically half a season. And I thought, this guy's, he's an interesting dude. He's high energy. He's a smart guy. I think he's got a really high emotional IQ. He knows how to handle people. He's a motivator. And I think that matters. I think that matters a lot. And even in the NFL, where you're supposed to be professionals and motivate yourself, I think you have to have an inspirational leader. I think it matters, and it certainly did for Washington. So you got the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell, this tremendous offensive mind.
Yep.
Obviously. Then you got the Broncos and Sean Payton.
Okay.
And then you got the Rams and McVay,
and then you're right. And then you got who coaches for the Bucs?
Todd Bowles.
Every single one of those guys gets more respect as a head coach than Todd Bowles. And I think the head coach of the Bucs has a little something to do with where they are placed in those overall rankings. Look, I would question Sirianni.
Because you look at rosters, that's not the 10th best roster in the league. It's way better than that.
Exactly.
It's way better than that.
So I think they're giving a lot of respect to some of these big name head coaches who, by the way, have some skins on the wall, even Sirianni.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn's been to an NFC title, or Dan Campbell has been to an NFC title game. Dan Quinn has now been to an NFC title game. All of these coaches have some skins. Well, I mean, I was talking about his most recent team, but yeah, absolutely. Overall, he has, and Bowles, Bowles has been there longer than some of those guys, and doesn't have the same skins. So I think I know how PSF operates.
You're not wrong.
I think they're overblowing the head coaching on some of these teams. So
yeah.
So it makes a little more sense when you think about it in that regard. But roster wise, key position wise, no, they're way better than the 10th best team in the league.
All right, so NFL.com has the Eagles as number one, and they say, obviously a great roster. They lost some people, but also added Jihad Campbell, Andrew Makuba, and Ty Robinson in the draft. So, yeah, they lost guys on defense, but they got younger and maybe more talented. Then they have the Ravens number two with Malachi Starks, who I thought, that was a great pickup for them. Of course, the Ravens may have a kicking issue too.
You know what I heard about Malachi Starks? I saw this short on TikTok or YouTube, whatever it was. New NFL draft picks who don't use their real names. And some of them were really weird, but Malachi Starks was on that list because his real name is William. His middle name is Malachi. And the guy that was, I don't know who he was, the guy that was doing the short said, well, yeah, because if he went by Bill Starks, he sounds like the finance manager at a used car dealership.
Can you imagine meeting a young person named Bill right now?
Bill Starks.
I am Bill. Or
Black
John.
With dreadlocks and
John. That's, my given name, John, and my brother's given name, Bill. Like, great creativity, mom and dad. That was great.
That cracked me up. Yeah, they could have a kicking issue. They finally got that dumb T-sip out of the building, though, so the room is looking up.
They got the Chiefs third.
Man, that's really high.
They love them some Patrick Mahomes, though. They got the Bills fourth. They got the Lions at 5. The Commanders at 6. Like, everybody loves the Commanders. Their defense sucked last year. We just weren't able to exploit it.
Yeah, I don't see them repeating as NFC title game, but they'll be good. They'll be a playoff team.
They love the Bucs. They got the Bucs 7th.
There you go.
Yeah. They say the Buccaneers, pound for pound, assembled one of the most impactful draft classes this year. A Buka pick did make me question giving Chris Godwin all that money. But it's a terrific insurance policy. There really wasn't a pick I disliked at all, but the Bucs doubling up at receiver, edge rusher, and corner. 3 spots they felt they had to address. The offense looks like a monster. Defense looks improved. Tampa Bay can't rank 29th against the pass again and hope to be a Super Bowl contender. Pass rush might linger as a summer worry, but Benjamin Morrison, Jacob Parrish selections will help out as well. So they're high on the Bucs, and they got the Rams at 8, the Packers at 9, and the Vikings at 10.
Where are the Bucs in the NFC on that list? I couldn't remember who you said was ahead of them.
I think they're third. I think there's Washington, Lions, so 2. Yeah, Philadelphia. Yeah, so just
So 4. That's probably right about right.
I think that's where I think the NFL.com has it right. They're 4th in the NFC, and they should win the NFC South going away.
Yeah.
But hey, hopefully everybody picks the Falcons again, like everybody did last year, and we laughed at them. But I also think the Bucs should have been a 12-win team. They should have beaten the Commanders.
Oh, there's no question. Yeah, that was a disappointing end of the season, but gave him some better draft picks, and I think Light did well with it.
Well, yeah, when you look at it that way, like I don't think they were going to win a Super Bowl last year. I think they were we were just went one more really good draft away, and maybe a couple free agent signings for this absolutely phenomenal brain trust that we have here. And I think they did. I think they vastly improved themselves on many levels. Oh, you got a little allergy.
You want to, before we wrap things up here, you want to do a little Truist Championship and some of Johnny's picks since he can't pop on with us?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. Totally forgot about that.
So, yeah, we've got the Truist Championship this weekend, teeing off tomorrow from, was it Flourtown, Pennsylvania, at maybe one of the weirdest named clubs, the Philadelphia Cricket Club. It is a signature event, so you'll have all the big names there that will be teeing off. Johnny did some work on this one. He looked at some of the weather and some of the expectations for the weekend. We'll throw Johnny's picks up here for those of you that are interested in that sort of thing. You can find my dartboard picks, however, at 6 o'clock Eastern right here on YouTube, X, Facebook, on From the Rough, our live From the Rough with me and Johnny, by the way.
Right.
You'll get my dartboard picks, and we will give a full preview of the Truist, along with the best bets and some storylines.
How is this a signature event?
Just because they rotate them. I have no clue.
When is it? When is
Valspar in line? Yeah, exactly.
Much better course, much better.
I'm not a fan of it. And they're playing this course. They're playing this at a different venue than they normally do because of the PGA Championship is being played.
Yeah.
At the normal course where they play this. So
Quail Hollow,
yeah, Quail Hollow. So it's a different setting. So it's just weird. I just hate Pennsylvania. Anything in Pennsylvania, I can't stand.
So we got Corey Connors at 30-1, Shane Lowry and Denny McCarthy as projected
as your winners.
Here. Okay,
right. Your ham sandwich, Lucas Glover at 110-1. And
Ooh,
Johnny will tell you with his picks, it's all about the value. That's why you'll never see him picking your favorites.
Scotty
Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, any of that mess.
31 under. You didn't like his 31 under, did you?
Man, I was going to go off on this yesterday while I was live from a golf course, but no.
But you can go off on it now.
It's ridiculous. Let's go through his list here. Aaron Rye and Keegan Bradley in the top 10, both at plus 375. Cashmere, Keith Mitchell at plus 190, and Tom Hoagie at plus 240 for the top 20.
All right. That's a Truist Championship.
So there you go. Yeah. So look, I don't hate Scotty Scheffler. I don't even dislike Scotty Scheffler. I just think he's a tremendously boring individual with zero personality, zero emotions on the course. And that's him. That's fine. I just don't think that, number one, it's the greatest look for the tour for those that are trying to get engaged, maybe as new viewers, new fans, when a guy like him, and he's not the only one, but he wins a lot, right? I know it's his first win of the year. Won a lot last year, and he's always in the spotlight. But it's just a boring look, right? When he wins, just because there's no emotion. Somebody like, you had Ricky Fowler back when he was winning some.
He's picking up his daughter. It's his baby daughter, and it's like you don't have any emotion in that. You're not weeping.
What? You know
As
what?
a father, you don't like, oh.
Let me let you in on something, JP. Nobody cares about his kid. All right? He does. That's it. Nobody freaking cares about his freaking family.
Now you're hating on babies?
Yeah, they're the
baby
worst.
Hater.
I got a bunch of them, man. I'm allowed to hate. But look, when you have a course that plays that in, it's in my freaking backyard, and it makes me crazy. At TPC Craig Ranch, where the players dominate a course that much, it's a bad look for the game. And I think it is an incredibly boring watch. Dude, there was hours on end. I couldn't even watch it on TV. I changed the channel. I watched F1, watched some IndyCar, watched some NASCAR, watched some hockey, anything but golf. Watched some LPGA. That was even more fun. But when you have a 31 underscore,
a guy that's just flogging the field, playing perfect golf, you can't appreciate that?
No, I cannot. Not
31 under par.
Look, I root for the course. Every golf tournament, I root for the course.
Yeah,
I want the course.
Watching guys make bogeys and struggle is not my idea of great golf either.
I would rather watch a pro golfer struggle on a course and still hit 5 under to win than watch somebody score 30 under. That's just not fun.
Yeah, I agree. 31 under is, that's a birdie fest. And that's just, that means you got ridiculously wide fairways, big greens, these guys. So it basically becomes a putting contest or a second shot. I get it. I totally get that. And, sometimes it is good to see them challenged in an open style field. I can't. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I also have to appreciate the graciousness of Scotty Scheffler. I mean, I just in general, the way he plays, as good as he is, and, he makes it look so easy. I think that's why it's boring. Yeah. Fairways and greens. And it just gets first of all, where are the rest of the guys? Catch up, Mustard. Come on, let's go. Where are the rest of you guys?
And they dominated the course too. And they dominated too, and they still lost by 8 strokes.
I know, but be better. Give me some drama. That's not just on Scotty. It's you guys should be better.
It was bad. And look, Laney Watkins is heading up a group. Dallas resident. He lives not far from Craig Ranch. Laney Watkins is heading up a group to redesign the course. They started on it on Monday. They're already working on it, rebuilding it, redesigning it. And Laney Watkins last week on Golf Channel swore that we would not see 16, 17 under win this tournament next year. That's his goal. And I'm all for it. But I say to you now, Laney, after that tournament, brother, you've got your work cut out for you because that course needs a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, if you're redesigning it, it's not hard to make it harder.
You know what you might need to start doing in golf? Reduce the size of the cup. Let's shrink it. Shrink the cup.
Oh, God, no. God, no.
Shrink the cup. Lower the pin.
It's very simple. It's very simple to stop this nonsense, and that's just go get a standard ball that doesn't fly 7,000 yards. It's very simple.
That and
Nicholas has it right. Shocking development. You got to limit what the ball does because it's ridiculous, right?
Technology has come way too far in the game now with clubs and balls and
you just got to limit, and it's the easiest way to. That way, you don't have to redesign every freaking course. You don't have to keep extending the Masters to 9,000 yards. Just get a standard ball that the guys have to use. That they have a standard ball in basketball and every place else has a standard ball or puck or whatever. This is not hard to do, and you need it in golf because it's just become ridiculous.
I think you need to penalize golfers more too for missing fairways. You need a harder rough because a lot of times a 4-inch rough at TPC Craig Ranch does not cut it. That does not penalize the golfer.
It depends on the rough as well too, and what you're going to see at Quail Hollow, or I'm sorry, at the U.S. Open at Bethpage Black, is going to be insane. They had
but it always is at a U.S. Open.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way over here at Copperhead. Yeah. When they grew the rough, it just makes if you're penalized for hitting it in the rough, it changes the game because these guys have to change their game. And it just makes it much more interesting. That's why, Copperhead then you bring so many more players into the field. Because when you just lengthen the courses, you're just taking parts of the field and some of these older golfers who are more interesting and more interesting to watch and more creative out of the mix, and it just becomes a bomber's delight. I don't think anybody really likes that. All right,
Shooter McGavin when you need them. We need more Shooter McGavins and Happy Gilmores.
Absolutely. All right, kids, that'll do it for us on Hump Day. Jason Light will be joining us tomorrow. We got to confirm this, so I'll get it out on social media later on today, but looks like we'll have Jason tomorrow. So if you have any questions, hit me up on social media. If you want me to pass those along to him, we'll have them for about 10 minutes. So that'll be fun tomorrow. Jason Light, best GM in the game, will be on this show. Thanks to you, Tim Ham. Thanks for all you guys commenting. We love your comments. It's a huge part of the show. We really appreciate you. Don't forget to go to Riveters tonight to watch all the playoff hockey and basketball action, and the Rays, of course, at 7:05, getting their ass kicked by the Phillies again tonight. No, hopefully not. Hopefully not. We'll get some runs. We'll see you tomorrow.